in the psyche of the people of South Asia. He took individuals who had been tyrannized, suppressed, oppressed for hundreds if not thousands of years and made them equals, made them kings, made every single individual of the Khalsa sovereign and autonomous and the ability to go out and fight for freedom, fight for equality, fight for justice. Not to look to other people to take care of their problems, to answer their concerns, but to be able to stand up on their own, answer the call, and stand up for the rights of others, and to stand up for the views and the thoughts and the ideas that all of humanity stands for. This is very important for us when we think about what is going on in the world today, where freedom of expression is under threat, freedom of religion is under threat. All of these issues are going on, and people are being oppressed in all ways, and the ideas of the Khalsa are really important to us today. So as Sikhs, we're here in Brantford, we're here in Canada, we call ourselves Sikh Canadians. If we call ourselves Sikh Canadians, we need to know what that means, and we need to act by that. If we call ourselves Sikh, if we call ourselves Sikhs of the Guru, we need to understand the message of the Guru. We need to connect with the Guru Granth. We need to be a part of the Guru Panth. We need to stand up for the values that are in there. Being a saint is not good enough for a Sikh. Being a saint soldier. So having the values on the inside, but putting those values into action is important. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said through the Khalsa that, you know what, in order to stand up for the rights of others, you have to be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. So in order to show us how to live, Guru Gobind Singh Ji first showed us how to die. In the words of Martin Luther King, if you have nothing in life to die for, then there is really nothing to live for in life. And that's what Guru Gobind Singh Ji showed, that we have the ability to stand up and fight and make our voices heard. And as Sikhs, we are at our best when we are defending the rights of others. When we put the rights of others first, when we put the concerns of others first, that is when we are in the glory of the Guru. One of our 3 golden rules is called Bandke Shako. It's not Shakke Bando. It's not eat first and share what you have with others. It's share what you have with others and be happy with what's left. Think of others first. Put others ahead of you. And as Sikhs, that's something that we've done time and time in our history. Guru Tegh Bahadur, his Shahidi, his martyrdom proved to us that I may not believe what you believe in, but I will fight to the death for your right to believe in it. His Shahidi stands the test of time for freedom of conscience and freedom of religion. And when we look at Canada, we living here in Canada today, we look at the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that we enjoy the patronage of, we enjoy the protection from. There is a complete alignment with the Sikh values and the Canadian values that are in there. Canadian values stand up for equality, justice, opportunities for all, upliftment of the marginalized, and that's where the Sikhs have a role to play as well in Canada. So as we come together for Vaisakhi, we need to reflect on not just what happened, but what it means. What it means to us today, what it means to our families, what it means growing up here. If all we do is once a year we come together and we have lots of great snacks and we meet as a community and we have a procession, well then there's lots of other processions. We could just join those. We could join the Santa Claus Day Parade or the Easter Parade that just happened. But when Sikhs do it, there has to be something more significant to it. So when we come together, it's a show of our community. It's a chance for us to reaffirm our connection to the Guru Panth, the Guru Granth. It's a chance for us to come together and say we will work together to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And so as Sikh Canadians, we have an obligation to stand up, the obligation to hold ourselves to a higher bar that Guru Gobind Singh Ji set up for us. So as we grow up in this country, we need to take the best of what Canada has to offer. And we need to stand our guard for Canadian values that are intrinsically aligned with Sikh values. So when we see things happening in our community, in our society, we need to stand up. And not just when it happens to ourselves. Yes, we need to protect our Sikh identity. We need to fight for our Panchakakar and our Dastar. And I know there's actually going to be a motion that's going to be presented in a little while around the protection of the Dastar and our right to wear it. These are very important issues. Fighting for justice around 1984 is a very important issue. Fighting for human rights for Sikhs and equality and autonomy, these are all issues that are of importance. But let's not forget, a Khalsa is at its best when it fights for everybody, when it fights for humanity, when it puts the concerns of others ahead of its own. So as youth, we're growing up here and we're seeing what's happening around the world, and we need to take a role in what's happening. When you look at poverty, not just on the other side of the world in places like Africa and Asia, when we look at poverty in our own backyards, we need to be the ones that don't look away. When we see someone on the street who is in need, Khalsa is the one that stops and asks, what can I do? How can I help you? When we see a need in the community, we come together. In British Columbia, the Sikh community is the single largest blood donating community. The single biggest blood drives that they do in British Columbia are done by the Sikh community in remembrance of 1984. For all the blood that has been spilled in vain, hopefully there's some blood donated for a good cause. When we look at the situation with our First Nations, our Aboriginals, we're the newest Canadians. When we look at the oldest Canadians, Aboriginal is मुल्क दे विच हो रहा जिन्हां दा मुल्क सीगा ਉਹ देखो किवें खूंजे लाए होए आ किवें रिजर्व्स इस धक्के खांदे आ नशे पत्ते दे विच लाए होए आ जिंदगी उन्हां दी बर्बाद हो जांदी आ ਅਸੀਂ पंजाब वाल देखदे आ और जो कुछ पंजाब दे सिखां नाल हो रहा ਉਹ Aboriginal First Nation Canadians ਨਾਲ 100 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ and we need to take a role in that. We need to have a voice in that. That's when we're at our best Khalsaji, is when we're fighting for the rights of others. So as we come together at Vaisakhi Day and we mobilize ourselves, let's make sure that we're not an inward-looking people. We're not just focused on what happens within the four walls of the Gurdwara, but we use the Gurdwara as our foundation of support, our foundation of strength, to go out there and be the best we can be, to engage with the community, to put Sikh values into practice. We talk a lot about the perception of Sikhs in Canada and the portrayal of Sikhs in Canada and how there's an inaccurate portrayal of Sikhs. And we talk about advertising campaigns, PR campaigns that we need to do. We need to have billboards telling people how great we are. No one believes the billboards. No one's going to believe us when we say how great we are. It's our actions that are going to define how great we are. And as actions as Sikhs, that's where we need to show it, that there's no difference between what we say as Sikhs and what we do as Sikhs. And that's what we've tried to do as a group of Sikh youth in Brantford and Mississauga. We've decided to come together and create an institution called the Seva Food Bank, which currently serves more than 450 families in need in the Mississauga area. These families come from all backgrounds. They're new Canadians, they're old Canadians, they come from every part of the world, and they have one similarity between all of them. They're in rough times and they're in need of food. And there's no greater mission of Guru Nanak than to serve people in need, to serve those who need a hand up, not a handout, to help people get back on their feet, and that they can once again become contributing members of society. So to date, in 7 months, we've given out over 100,000 pounds of food. We have over 100 volunteers, the majority of whom are youth. Our organizing committee is youth. Half of our organizing committee is female, because unless we have equal representation for both genders, we are going to be sub-optimizing our efforts. So this is just one little example of how the youth have come together and tried to do something bigger than ourselves. And I think we with the Guruji's Kirpa, we're onto something special. So I encourage any of you who are in Brantford and Mississauga to come by sevafoodbank.com, and I encourage the youth here in Brantford. There's such a wonderful aura here, such a wonderful atmosphere of the youth coming together, and I think you have a lot of support from the Gurdwara committee. It's a chance for you to step up. At this stage, I'm sure it's been said many times that children are our future. These are the leaders that are going to lead the bunt to the next generation. Well, there's an effort on both ends that needs to happen. There's an effort from the part of the elders to give the youth responsibilities that turn them into leaders, and there's a need for our youth to step up and show initiative and say we are ready to take on those leadership roles, we are ready for those challenges, and we are ready to help lead the bunt into the 21st century. And that's where we need everyone to come together on that. So thinking of Vaisakhi as you go through today, think about how we want to engage in the community that we're in. We're 2% of the population in India, we're not 2% of the population in Canada. We have as much to do with here as we do back home, and we need a balance between all of those views. So in Nikanda Kochak Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.